Looking for simple indoor Easter activities you can do with your toddler at home this year? I'm bringing you 9 of them today. They can pretty much be set up in under 5 minutes and the cleanup is just as fast, if not even faster. Plus, I have a free printable for you guys that you can download from the description box below. It has the templates for a couple of the activities you'll see in this video, coloring pages, it has a matching game. Your toddler will definitely love it. It'll keep them engaged. It's a nice way to make Easter a little more fun for our toddlers. Every single one of these activities has a blog post version linked below. More details, more tips, if you need to go back to the supply list, anything like that, all easy access for you there. Let's get into our Easter activities for toddlers and preschoolers. I will share some tips throughout this and in those blog posts about ways to adapt for younger kids or older kids, and some of these are even fun for the whole family. First up is the tail on the bunny. It's exactly what you might think. We're taking cotton balls and pinning the tail on the bunny. In that free printable packet I told you about, there's 2 versions that you can use. This single sheet here, which is what I gave my toddler, or you can use these full sheet bunnies if you wanted to tape this up on a wall or make it bigger. A couple ways you can go about this. Hot glue the cotton balls onto a clothespin. Work on that fine motor grasp. I didn't think my toddler would be quite there yet. Instead, I just found these little glue dot adhesives at the Dollar Tree, stuck them onto the cotton ball and gave those to her. Full disclosure, they did kind of fall off. They'd get stuck on the page. Definitely not perfect using the glue dot adhesives, but it worked. She understood the concept. She had so much fun with it. I just laid this out on our kitchen counter, so while I was cooking dinner, she was working on this. She kept wanting me to reset it. She played with this a handful of times throughout the week. Pretty much we played with it until the paper was destroyed because it had been stepped on or crinkled too many times. Next up is a fun game I'm calling Easter Bunny Holy Roller. If you guys have watched the Ellen DeGeneres show, she has the game Holy Roller where you roll a ball through a tiny hole that's on the ground. Exact same concept here, only we are going to make an Easter bunny. Full disclosure, this is the longest activity to set up the first time because you have to make the bunny. To make my bunny, all I did was I used an old cardboard box. I covered it in white butcher paper. I cut off 2 of those long vertical flaps to use as the bunny ear, covering those fully in white paper as well. Once they were fully covered, I cut the ear shape off the top and just added a little bit of tape over the tip of the ear in a U, and the white paper stuck on as so here. I used a knife to cut out the bunny mouth. This should sit flush on the floor. I had my husband sketch out what the bunny face would look like. He's a much better artist than I am. I went over his sketch with a black marker and obviously colored it in with some crayons to make it a little bit more cute. As far as fixing the ears on top, it just kind of created like a pulley system. So I taped them down flat and then I just put a piece of tape at a, what is this called? Not a perpendicular angle. Whatever this angle is in geometry is what I did. So we had our bunny ear standing up, the flap taped onto the box, piece of tape like this to get it to sit upright. From there, I grabbed a bin with a bunch of Easter eggs, set this out in my daughter's playroom. We had to model this a few times for her. She really wanted to throw the Easter eggs. We had to show her how to roll them. She absolutely loved this activity. She loved trying to figure out where the Easter eggs had gone. She loved emptying the Easter bunny. It definitely had a little bit of a learning curve for her at 2 years old, but it is fun for the whole family. Once the bunny is made, setup literally takes 30 seconds, which is really nice, and you can keep playing with this over and over again because it is a pretty sturdy game. Next up is just an Easter egg sticky wall. What you need is some contact paper from the Dollar Tree. We are going to do an Easter egg shape here, so you can go about this a couple ways. Cut out a big square of your contact paper and just draw the egg shape. My daughter's a little bit younger, she's 2. I don't think she'll really get the idea of staying in the lines, so what I did was I took a piece of computer paper and cut out an egg shape from the computer paper, stuck that over the square piece of contact paper, and then I gave her a bowl of just multicolored tissue paper shreds and the little Love Every tweezers that we got in one of our past play kits, and she had a blast with this. So far, out of all of the sticky walls I have done with her, this one has been by far her favorite. I think this is also the first one I've used tissue paper on. In the past, I had done cotton balls, I had done construction paper, and she really enjoyed the tissue paper, which I saw in my Easter basket video. It was one of the things I suggested including in your toddler's Easter basket. This is one of the ways that you can end up incorporating it into an engaging activity on Easter Day. Next up is an Easter egg stacking STEM challenge. So this is working by motor skills, it's working engineering, early mathematical concepts, and even better, it is using items that you 100% already have in your house for Easter, which are just basic Easter eggs. Give shells to your child. You may need to model this for them and practice stacking them. As your kid gets older, you can make this more challenging. Sort by color. You could write numbers on the Easter eggs or letters on the Easter eggs and have them stack them in the right order. There's a lot of different ways to adapt this activity to meet your child where they're at the older they get. In the blog post, I go into way more detail about customizing. Highly recommend this. Another Easter themed STEM activity, which is an Easter egg roll. Something that you can really customize based off of your child's age here. I used our pickler triangle to set this up, but you don't need a pickler triangle to see our full pickler triangle in action too, because I always get asked about it. I will link my Montessori gift guide for toddlers in the description box below, where I walk you guys through it a little bit more. All you need for this is something that's sturdy, can be slanted, and some Easter eggs. From there, the complexity of how you want to make this is entirely up to you and your child. For younger kids, this could be as simple as literally taking a cardboard box, ripping off one of the flaps, showing them how to put it at an angle, and rolling the eggs down. As your kids get older, you may want to create more of a maze like we did here, and I just used some of the rectangular pegs from our Love Every Block set, which I'll leave a link in the description box as well to the review of that, to create a course that our Easter egg would roll down. Suggestion for this to really make it a STEM activity would be to involve your child, no matter how old they are, in the construction of the incline. Even if you have a 1-year-old, just narrate out loud. Let's see what we could roll this egg down. Do you think this cardboard box would work? So asking guiding, leading questions that are yes, no. As your kid gets older, you could ask them what they think you guys should use. And you could say something like, let's go around the house and see what we could use as a slide for the Easter eggs. Leave it really open-ended and let their creativity take the lead in this. I would ask her, where should we put this one? And she'd point, and we would go ahead and do that. It does require a bit of patience. Once you build a maze, roll the Easter egg down, see where it gets stuck, see where it flies off the track, see where there are issues in your course, and then ask them how to problem solve or troubleshoot that. Like, do you think if we tilt this at a deeper incline, it'll help the egg keep rolling down? Do it in a guiding way, or you could do it in a more open-ended way by saying, the egg got stuck. How do you think we can keep it moving downward? This is a great activity for like little kids where you may want to just set the ramp up for them, or older kids, like I would say probably all the way up to 8 years old. I remember being in 5th grade and doing an activity like this where we had to take a marble, and whichever team got their marble down the track the slowest won. Then of course the actual act of rolling the eggs down is fun. I will say my daughter enjoyed the building of the track more than rolling the eggs down. She had fun with the eggs rolling down, but that was probably her least favorite aspect of all of the activities I'm showing you today. Every kid's going to be different. They're going to have different interests. Try involving your kid in different aspects and see what they like or dislike. Next up is Easter Bunny Hop. This is by far one of my toddler's favorite activities, and parents, you're going to love it too because it's super easy setup, super easy cleanup, and it's working some gross motor skills to burn off that toddler energy on any rainy spring day where you were stuck at home indoors. I used my Cricut because I didn't want to waste a ton of printer ink. I used colored cardstock, had my Cricut cut out my bunnies for me, which made this really simple. Again, in that free printable Easter packet I told you guys about, I have a template for these bunnies. If you don't have a Cricut, you just print the bunnies out. My suggestion though would be to use some sort of construction or cardstock. Don't just use regular printer paper because your kid's going to be jumping on them and regular printer paper will probably get shredded pretty quickly. So we want a little bit more of a durable paper. And of course, you could always use colored cardstock and cut out the bunnies by hand. How you're gonna play this is there's a few different ways. Once again, depending on where your child is at developmentally. If your child is on the younger side, can start off with just like 2 colors, blue and red, and say jump to the red bunny, jump to the blue bunny. As your kid gets older, add in more colored bunnies. As your kid gets older, you can add in a cube or a dice like this. I'm using our Simon Says cube from one of our Love Every Play kits, or you could really just use a regular block. All you're gonna do is take a piece of colored construction paper that matches each of the bunnies you have laying out, cover 1 color per side of the cube, rolling the cube, seeing what color comes up, and having them hop to that bunny. If you have multiple kids, this is an activity they could take turns playing on their own. They roll the dice, they hop over to it, or you roll the dice and you have all the kids hop over to one. Really simple, really fun, by far one of my kids' favorite activities on this list. Next up is Feed the Bunny, which I was inspired by the updated Babbler play kit from Love Every, where they have that little carrot drop box. We're gonna make something like that. So for this, I took 2 cereal boxes and I cut out one of the big sides from each and I taped them together so they were deep enough to fit my carrot. I would suggest using a regular cardboard box that's a bit more sturdy. The cereal boxes were a little flimsy and I ended up needing to create little pillars inside and make it sturdier. I covered it up in white paper and then I took a knife and just cut little circles, and that was going to be the bunny's mouth. This is not pretty, I know. My toddler did not care, so does not need to look perfect. It ended up being kind of a mess, so what I ultimately decided to do was take a regular piece of printer paper and tape that over it, and then I took one of the carrots that I planned on using for this activity and I just pushed the carrots through that fresh sheet of paper I had taped on where I had already cut out the holes. Once I had all my holes set, drew on my bunnies, colored them in. These are definitely not cute. This is why I had my husband sketch the bunny for the Holy Roller activity, because I am not the artist in this relationship. My daughter did not care. She had an absolute blast with this activity. She had so much fun with this. She played with it the first time for about 45 minutes, and then she played with it again later on that day for like 20 minutes, and she went back to it again the next morning. She has been playing with this quite a bit. Once you make the box the first time, your setup is done and it will take you 30 seconds to set up and clean up moving forward. Highly recommend it. Easily one of her favorite activities. And if that is just way too much work for you, there's a dupe for this activity on Amazon. I will link in the description box as well. Next up is our Kinetic Sand Beach Bunny sensory box. I took some of the halved Easter eggs, these little mini Easter bunny erasers. I don't necessarily recommend for this. My daughter had ripped off the ears, their faces were getting smudged off. She had so much fun with this. She would bury the bunnies, put them inside the Easter egg, put sand with the bunny inside the Easter eggs. She played with this until the Easter bunny erasers I used were destroyed, which is why I suggest getting sturdier ones, because I think she would have continued playing with it far beyond that. Next up is another STEM activity, fizzy eggs. Maybe you want to call them rotten eggs. I don't know what we're gonna call them. I probably need a better name than this. I got an empty egg carton. I used some of those Easter egg halves, added a little bit of baking soda, a little bit of food coloring. I would suggest holding off on adding the food coloring until right before you go to do this. Food coloring will harden and dry if you add that too early. And I also just added a couple little figurines. Again, she had already burned through her Easter bunnies at that point. I hid that into a few different ones. The tip with working with vinegar and baking soda with toddlers, because they tend to go through it pretty quickly and they tend to get it a little bit all over them, and dilute your vinegar with some water. It does not need to be straight vinegar to get that baking soda reactions. Put out a few different options for her. We had a little eyedropper, which she's still struggling to kind of get the hang of all the time. Squeeze bottle. The squeeze bottle I gave her was still a little bit too hard for her to do on her own. So I ended up giving her a ladle and a stacking cup, which worked the best for where she's at. She had so much fun with it. She played with it for like an hour the first day. I didn't even burn through all of the baking soda, so you need a lot less baking soda than you think in those Easter eggs. I'm having some some left over where we went ahead and played with it again the next day. She had so much fun hitting the fizz, finding the animals. Make sure to hit that notification and subscribe button because I am finally going to be sharing our playroom with you guys. Y'all have been asking me to share it for like 3 months now, and it's coming next month, April. I promise. In the meantime, make sure to go ahead and check out what's in my Easter basket for my 2-year-old. We put mine together for under $10 using just Dollar Tree items that all focus on engagement and skill development, not entertainment, and there's no candy. Or make sure to go ahead and check out more toddler activities. And if you have any questions at all, my name is Rachel. Feel free to hit me up on Instagram at @theconfusedmillennial. Have a good one.